Perfect.
Who better than Derek, Pat, Andrew, the wrestling crew? Man, they bout to put an end to y'all careers like a finishing move. They bout to give y'all facts on these cats that's fighting on these mats. Y'all can't see them like John Cena. Even if y'all had 20/20 vision, y'all better listen, pay attention, and take notes down, and realize that it's not your time now. And watch these three kings take the crown. Hey, hey.
This is the Sugar Rush and the hottest, most athletic, and best kid in the world of sports entertainment today, Kid Christian, and you are listening to Wrestling IQ 101.
Welcome everybody to Wrestling IQ 101. Make sure you subscribe to the page, leave a like. I'm Andrew alongside Derek.
What's up, guys?
What's up, Rocky?
AKA Rocky.
And we are sitting with the Panda Man from Panda Land, Fallah Bahh. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you guys for having me. Thank you.
Definitely, man. Definitely. How's everything going?
Great, man. Great. I like the setup. It's, nice and quiet. I like your list. I don't know if anybody noticed. He has a list full of questions, but he actually has a list, like stuff in the back. It's kind of entertaining right now. We were just talking before the podcast about the Jericho Owens breakup. We're all devastated.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was the best thing they had. I mean, a lot of people didn't like the Kevin Owens as champion, because it wasn't just focused on him.
Oh yeah,
and I thought it was great. I mean,
I think the past couple of months is so entertaining. It's amazing.
I think those have been the two guys of Raw
for
the past couple of months.
Yeah, I mean, they really took the place of the New Day because they were starting to get a little stale too.
Yeah. Okay,
and but yeah, Chris Jericho's the GOAT.
Yeah,
can't go wrong with Jericho.
That's not a gimmick,
And I'm a little heartbroken because I have family from Canada.
Oh, okay.
It hurts that they've separated. So, well, what can you do? Oh well. On to bigger and better things.
This friendship will never be broken.
Me and you?
No.
Oh, Rocky.
Derek.
The Andrew and Rocky connection.
Andrew and Rocky.
So, Fallah, tell us a little bit about what made you a wrestling fan.
I mean, I've been a fan since I can remember, honestly. Everybody has their first real memory of their life. My first memory is wrestling. It was 91, right? And the Gulf War was happening. Mm-hmm. My cousin, for some reason, was that big cousin that always bullies you around, right? He was teasing me or ribbing me and telling me, because I was young, I was 5 years old, and I have no concept of war or anything. I didn't know there was a battlefield. I didn't know this was happening. He told me that the Gulf War was happening, and I'm thinking they're gonna fight in my block. So I anytime I saw stuff on the news, I was petrified. You know what I mean? I couldn't sleep that night. He was teasing me, and for some reason, my family at that night was watching WrestleMania 7. And if you remember that was the main event was Hulk Hogan versus Sergeant Slaughter. Yep. Sergeant Slaughter, the Iraqi sympathizer, he turned on the American people and joined forces with Saddam Hussein, quote unquote, and that whole match and story, it got my attention because I couldn't sleep at night. That night I couldn't sleep, so I had to watch with the family. I was having nightmares, and Hulk Hogan, the real American, fought for his country, and I was hooked. I was like, yes. America's gonna prevail. America's gonna win. I believed. I bought in, and I believed the whole the whole pay-per-view, the whole match, and it made me at ease when Hogan won for some reason. I couldn't explain it. When I think about it back in the day, or think about it now, it made no sense. Why would I believe this? But it gave me a superhero.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And ever since then, I couldn't stop watching it. We recorded that pay-per-view, And I don't know if you have kids.
Yeah.
Okay, you know that one video that you play on the television so your kids would be shut up.
Yeah.
And just sit down and not go crazy.
yeah, I definitely do.
My mother put that tape on every time I was wigging out. When she wanted me to sit down on the couch, she had me watch that tape.
Oh man.
So like I was hooked. I mean, first memory, the first thing that I can honestly remember is that. And then as time goes on, I was just hooked. Not only did I see Hogan, I saw Warrior and Savage. That storyline, and then like the Rockers versus Haku and Barbarian, like it just like stuff like that. And then like as storylines passed on, I just got hooked and I got obsessed. And you know, as I became a teenager, I wanted to make kids and people feel the way I felt that night. You know, and that's what got me into wrestling.
That's a pretty good story.
Yeah. That's some real stuff, man. We just got deep.
We got deep. You're making me think of my son now because my son, he's 4 years old. He's getting into wrestling right now.
Yeah.
He loves it. He knows how to put it on from the DVR and stuff.
Yeah.
But the only difference is my son's favorite wrestler is Brock Lesnar. So
That's
I don't
awesome.
know how to feel about that.
But you got to remember, it's a different time then. Like back then, like it was good guys, bad guys. There was no smart mark because we thought it was real.
Yeah, definitely.
You feel me? Like I believe there was a clown wrestler named Doink. Like we didn't question anything when we were growing up. So I mean, now it's different. There's you know, and society's different too. Like the bad guys are cool now.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So it's, you know, it's different.
The attitude really changed that with Austin becoming a heel.
Yeah.
And then he was a face. So it's like,
yeah.
How's this guy? This guy should be in jail.
Yeah, exactly. But like seeing stuff now, like seeing kids boo and cheer Cena like that makes me smile.
Yeah.
Because they're booing and cheering like it's real.
Yeah. Definitely.
You know what I mean? They're still like the stuff isn't real. It might be taboo to say, but the feeling of wrestling is real.
Definitely.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Definitely invested. That's what I try to explain to people. It's like people always be like, "Oh man, you know wrestling is fake." I'm like, "Yeah, of course I know."
Yeah, of course. You know, like it's
grown ass man. I understand that.
You know, and
but
like
you're invested in it, storylines.
And I get the people that like get upset and offended, but like you got to remember how it is. It's the moments of wrestling. That's what's real. You know what I mean? Like,
but so are movies and TV.
Yeah,
shows.
you know what I mean.
Like, it's the same. You're in the same genre. It's entertainment.
Yeah,
you
yes.
know? So, and that's why I always try to tell people, like, look at it as entertaining. You know, you're watching something to enjoy it. You
Yes.
know? Like
Most
I used
definitely.
to tell. It was my guilty pleasure. Like, you know, like when I was a little kid, because it was right before the explosion, and then the explosion of WWE and WCW.
Oh,
because I was a fan before that. I started in '95.
Oh, it wasn't cool. When it wasn't cool. Like when I was growing up, like I didn't want to. I didn't tell nobody. It was, but like here's the thing though, like the people that you found out like wrestling, that was a special friendship.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like that was that. Like everybody talks about that random weird corner in the cafeteria that those aren't nerds. Those are wrestling fans. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't. You know.
So it was funny because when the Attitude Era started, like I had all the toys, right?
Yeah.
So like, and nobody in my class had them yet.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, "How'd you get all these guys?" And I'm like,
I had it this whole time.
I had them like,
yeah.
You know. So and it used to be, you know, and then it became like my guilty pleasure, and then it became everybody liked it, and then afterwards it was like everyone started to move away from it, but I still enjoyed it. So to me, you know, it was kind of like, oh, I'll talk about it seldomly now. You know?
I got you.
Or you know, when I have like that one friend who who knows I like wrestling, we can debate it all day and stuff like that. You know, I had one friend, he always like shunned it, like unless we're like passing in the hallways, he'd be like, "Did you see AJ Styles?" And I'm like, "Who's that?"
Well, there's okay. Here's the thing: when you're talking at that time, when you met new people or talk to them, there's two reactions, and that's where you know who to talk or what to talk. There's two reactions. It's all the same words. It's like it's either you watch wrestling, or you watch wrestling. Like that's where you know.
Yeah, right.
Like where to stand with that person. That's where you know. Like, all right, I'm gonna chill with this guy. You know.
Yeah. Now, I think now it's like
now it's different. Now it's. I mean, I wouldn't say it's as popular as the Attitude Era, but it's cool because like nerd culture is cool now.
Yeah.
You know, and like wrestling like goes side to side with nerd culture because there's lore. You know, there's backstories behind each character. There's backstory. It's essentially like real life comic books.
Yeah.
Real life superheroes, real life villains, and you know. It goes hand in hand. So like that whole like hipster internet stuff that you know that's booming right now. You know what I mean? There's Instagrams and Facebooks dedicated to pro wrestling.
It's funny you say that because every time I've gone to a Comic-Con or comic book convention, there's always a wrestler.
Yeah, there's always a wrestling corner.
There's always a wrestler.
Yeah, and that's it goes hand in hand. It's characters.
I kind of take like a pride in it now because it's kind of like all my friends now they're like. Oh, we know Derek's the wrestling guy.
Yeah.
And then it's like they'll try to get in it too, and they'll be like, "Oh, yo, did you watch Monday Night Raw?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Yeah, did you watch Monday Night Raw?" I'm like, what?
And since when did like the wrestling shirt become like a hipster like swag like
NWO shirt?
Yeah. What was it?
Shirt?
I think Kylie Jenner wearing a NWO Wolfpack shirt.
Wolfpack.
My mind was blown. Like if that was like 10, 15 years, they wouldn't make fun of that person.
It's like Rihanna was wearing like a DX jersey.
Yeah.
I was like, what
that old school jersey, and that's probably she probably paid a lot of money for that.
I'm waiting for someone to wear a Nakamura shirt.
Yeah, I mean, like
Balor.
Yeah,
that'd be crazy, man. That's crazy.
You know?
Those guys are just explosive right now.
Yeah, the NXT crowd, but that's the funny part too. Like anybody that was like a indie fan or like anybody that was a real like fan of the culture, like knew that they were gonna like be big one day, or if they gave them a shot, they would just kill it. And look what's happening now. Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, like they're killing it right now. Given, you know what I mean, given an opportunity.
But it's funny because the first guy they really gave an opportunity to was CM Punk.
Yeah, well he did that. He did that pipe bomb, and it just kind of changed everything.
Before that, from when he was in Ohio Valley, OVW, they had no. They didn't even know what they had. They just kind of signed like an internet like indie wrestler, and then for years they just mistreated him up until the pipe bomb.
Yeah, it's just all about really giving people a shot, and like even the people that like I feel like fans like kind of rip on like they're the number one company. They're gonna invest on the best talent that they could possibly have. So if for some reason, they're not doing well, it doesn't mean they're horrible. It's because they haven't gotten a real shot or time to really shine. You know what I mean? It's all on perception of how you see things. But I get fans. They get really passionate about the like wrestling, and but at the same sense, it's because you're not giving them a shot.
Sure.
You know.
I want to ask you, not giving a shot. They made such a big deal, well-deserved big deal, that Kurt Hawkins was coming back. Yeah. And they have not used him the right way.
Yeah, well, that's the same case. I mean, like, he's amazing. He's awesome. He has all the tools, and just...
You think he regrets going back a little bit?
I don't know. I mean, you got to remember, there's a paycheck, so I don't, you know what I mean?
Well,
like,
that's true.
And that's, like, even if, like, that's the biggest stage, so why wouldn't you want to, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Because, as soon as he came back, I was like, yeah, this is going to be awesome. Like, they're giving him they have vignettes. They're doing this over-the-top entrance where he talks, and I'm like, oh, man, like, now you don't even see him. Like, he's on the pre-show. I'm like, what the hell?
I mean, he definitely deserves more. He's such a great guy.
100% agree.
The thing is, like, especially now with how thin they are with, like, splitting the brands up. You got SmackDown, Raw. It's like, why wouldn't you use him?
Yeah.
Like, you put him out there, give him something.
Yeah.
Pretty sure he could kill it, for sure.
Of course, definitely. Most definitely. I mean, I'm not the booker, so I'm not going to, you know what I mean? I'm not there, so I don't know,
Definitely.
I want to ask you, where did you train?
I trained at IWF with Kevin Knight.
Okay.
At that time, it was in West Patterson. Now it's somewhere else. But I started there. Same place as people like Darren Young, Robbie E. I don't know if you know Ref Bennett. He started out there. He wrestled.
Yeah. Oh,
Sean Bennett.
Yeah. Actually, I used to go to the fair, and that's where I actually was very friendly with him because he would be the referee for CJ Summers and stuff like that.
That guy was always professional.
CJ Summers?
No, I mean, well, no, I meant Bennett, but CJ Summers is cool. I mean, no, I meant Ref Bennett. He was, ever since.
Yeah, he was a good.
He schooled me on being professional. One of my good friends.
That's awesome.
So
CJ Summers, Jesus Christ!
That's funny, man.
He's a rock star, man.
You just brought up that old school show. I was those festivals. They would run all week long. That was my first week booking, and I was so excited because I was first or second year in, and meanwhile I'm trying to get out of work to try to do these bookings.
I remember my first memory. You had the singlet, the shaved hair, the face paint. You kind of had a Umaga kind of feel to it.
Yes. Well, I went the Samoan route. You know, I look Samoan, even though I'm not. I'm Filipino, but I listened to people that because I was new and people told me do this and I did. It was fun. I studied that style anyways because it matched my size and athletic prowess, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So big ups to the Samoans.
Yeah.
There's always seems to be a pattern and a connection with Asian and Samoan together.
Yeah.
You kind of see with Yokozuna, he was Samoan and stuff like that. Yeah. Do you think kind of there's a connection in the culture or anything like that?
I mean, what do you mean? Like in real life?
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the islands and the Pacific, a lot of in real life, a lot of cultures mingled. Yeah. You know what I mean? Being a Filipino, I had a lot of my culture is influenced by a lot of different countries. Mm-hmm. We were founded by Spain, and we had a lot of Spanish influences. We were conquered by Japan at one point, so we had a lot of Japanese influences. And if you really dissect all the different islands and countries in Asia and Pacific, a lot of cultures were influenced by each other. Yeah. So you see one thing that they might have, another country might have it too. Yeah. So
Yeah, because I remember
they're so close.
Growing up with Yokozuna, I was when I got older, and I was this guy is not Japanese. What?
No, this whole time it wasn't Japanese. It was a whole lineage. Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy.
But they looked the part at the same sense.
They did. Yeah, definitely.
Definitely. He really played that very well.
He played it very well. Yes, he definitely.
Do you remember WrestleMania 9? Bret Hart versus Yokozuna.
Yes.
Yep.
All the fans were chanting USA, but none of them were for American. I remember Heenan talking about it. It was amazing.
Yeah, that's funny. How in Philippines is wrestling a big thing in the Philippines?
Yes. It's when I was younger and I visited the Philippines to visit my family during the summer. Mm-hmm. I don't think the broadcast was up to date with the wrestling that was happening now or at that moment. Yeah. You know what I mean? It might be a couple of weeks or a couple of months behind. Mm-hmm. But now it's different. Stuff can be shared quick. So I'm sure now it's still there. I mean I hear it sells out every time they go to the Philippines. So I wish they would have more of an indie presence. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it's hard, mm-hmm. It's so far away. So how are you gonna know every you know what I mean?
Yeah. Definitely.
So I had a question. You were with the EJ5.
Yes.
Were you upset when they turned their back on you, and were you nervous about going off on your own adventure?
I mean, it was just a direction, and I was nervous to be by myself because I don't have a talking piece behind me. But at the same sense, you got to see if you got to learn, and it's a different learning experience. Okay. I mean, it the most of the people in the EJ5, ironically, is like one of my best friends, Justin Carino, Mark Carino, Eddie, Buster's a good friend. Payne is a great friend too. But I grew up in the wrestling business. My first years was with Justin Carino. My first match was a tag match with Justin Carino. Mm-hmm. Our careers paralleled these past 12 years. So it was cool to be part of a group because it felt real. Mm-hmm. But at the same sense, it's kind of sad to see everything go. You know what I mean? To be part, but they're a top heel faction. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, and you're the other way. You're the top good guy.
I mean, I wouldn't say the top, but I'm there. I'm up there.
But you're beloved by us.
I appreciate it, guys.
Definitely.
Love you too, Rocky.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. What do you like doing more? You like doing heel better, or you like doing face better?
Right now, face is different. Mm-hmm. I've been a heel for years.
You're a good heel, and I like you as a heel.
And it's now it's new. Mm-hmm. So I'm just feeling it out. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I do like having fun here and there.
Yeah, of course.
So it's cool to be all right. You know what I mean? Not so serious. Mm-hmm. But I mean, you never know. As time goes by, you always feel different about things. Mm-hmm. I might want to be an asshole again. Yeah. You never know.
Talking about being a good guy, you have the panda theme about you. How did that come up about?
Well, this is where I just joke around about stuff. I was a big fan of Kung Fu Panda.
Okay.
And even before I ever really did the whole Yokozuna style gimmick, while I was still doing the Savage stuff, on Instagram I would just post pictures of pandas. And I put follow the panda. I'm an Asian bear, a panda. So I kind of would just post random panda pictures, and as time goes by, people started to notice, and they started posting panda pictures on my Facebook, which is amazing. I love it. And Pat suggested, hey, maybe I noticed you started posting a lot of panda stuff. Maybe you should implement it in your gimmick, put it in your gear. And when I heard it, I got way too excited.
Okay.
I when he came up to me, he's like, hey, maybe you should start putting the panda stuff on your gear. And I got excited, way too excited. I was like a mask and a suit, and he looked at me dead straight in the eyes, and he's like, no, on your Yoko pants. And I'm I try to play it off because I felt kind of foolish, why a grown man would want to get a panda suit, you know what I mean? So I'm oh yeah, of course, why I wouldn't think to have a suit or anything, but yeah, and so I started putting the panda stuff,
Nice. Oh man, that's funny.
Yeah.
How was it wrestling on TV, when they recording and stuff? Did it affect you at all? Was it just a normal match, or were there specific things that you had to do when you guys were on TV?
You had to just keep in mind that you're not only wrestling for fans around you, you have to wrestle for the television. So a lot of spots you just got to keep in mind that certain things had to be in front of the camera. Mm-hmm. It's pretty much. It's not it wasn't as serious as TV and WWE, you know what I mean? But it was, hey, just keep in mind that you're doing this for wrestling, for TV rather. Mm-hmm. Do it this way, you know what I mean? Yeah. If you're gonna do something, hide brass knucks, pull your hand up so everybody can see it, and the wide shot can see it too.
Yeah.
it's not as serious as WWE, but it's it's enough to just it's a good learning experience if you haven't wrestled for TV.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I feel like I used to DVR the shows. Like,
Yeah.
Because they came on like super late.
Yeah.
I used to watch them and stuff, and it's like for me, like I took like I'm pretty new, couple years into independent wrestling, so like I first like saw you come in, and then win the championship and everything.
Yeah.
So now it's kind of like it's like it comes like full circle. Like I'm actually sitting here with you.
Yeah.
Because
cool.
like actually I saw this guy like come up, and I feel like I've seen you like progress and evolve.
Well, that's awesome,
and
man.
I think that's really cool.
Thank
man.
you.
I think it's really cool.
Like that's the great thing about wrestling. For some reason, like if you're a fan long enough, like stuff goes, either a fan or even if you're in wrestling, stuff goes full circle.
Mm-hmm.
Like for example, like we were talking about like being indie fans before this recording. You mentioned going to Jersey All Pro and Rahway. I used to be a fan. I used to be an indie fan before I got into wrestling. I would watch shows in Rahway for Jersey All Pro, and I would see Dan Moff kill it as the champion, kill it in the main event. And, like 10 years later, 12 years later, not trying to say Dan Moff is old or anything, but like I wrestled Dan Moff in the same building, different federation or different fed, but like in a ring. You know what I mean? Like stuff goes full circle. It was one of it was weird staring at him face to face in that ring. I'm like, wow, stuff goes full circle. You know what I mean? It was a great experience.
Yeah, it's crazy. Man.
It's funny how you brought that up because that was one of my questions for you. Because everyone that we've talked to have always said they want to wrestle Dan Moff.
Yes.
They want to wrestle Mario Picara and Kevin Matthews. You've had the distinction of wrestling all of those guys.
Yes.
So like, how does that make you appreciate where you are?
Oh, most definitely. Like, I mean, as a wrestler, like I've been wrestling for 10 years, but one thing I know, you never stop learning. Wrestling people like Dan Moff, Kevin Matthews, Mario Picara, they're so good. You know what I mean? They're so established. Like they're so established. The match is gonna be easy regardless with the fans. So like to a certain degree, you're at ease. You know what I mean? You don't have to worry about if the fans are gonna dig the match or not. It's built in. It's already there. But like talking to them about the match and seeing how their thought process is put in, it's a great learning experience to see where they're coming from and how they do things and how like they go about things, and it's a great learning experience because you can put that stuff into your way of thinking, and it's always an honor to wrestle those guys.
Do you still pull those guys to the side and ask them to critique your match, or if they have time?
Like for the most part, if I go to the back and I see them in front of the screen, I'll put them aside and ask them what they think.
Okay.
Like you try not to bother them too much, but like you want to know with people like that. Even like Pat, like he's like those four guys, they're great minds in wrestling. I personally feel that they should be farther in their career than they are. You know what I mean? I feel like they've done a lot. I feel like they should be doing more.
Yeah.
But it's the only way you're gonna learn is by like finding out what your critiques is. Like finding out critiques from them and having them explain it. So. Yeah, for the most part, I do. I always, I try not to bother them, but I do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. because like you talk about Jersey All Pro, the last show at the Starland Ballroom, Homicide and Monster Mac invaded.
That was crazy.
Did you have mixed feelings because you're a
just-
WrestlePro guy, but then
there's
you
no-
grew up
listen,
AP.
man. There's nothing but like it was crazy. It was insane to see, like that crew together in the WrestlePro ring. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Oh,
And then like fighting like essentially like Kevin Matthews and Pat Buck, like the faces of the company.
yeah,
You know, Dan Moss the face of the company too. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? But
yeah,
they're
yes.
you know, but like it's crazy to see those guys interact.
yeah.
You know what I
it's
mean?
yeah,
I like it was.
I was waiting for Low Key to come out and stuff. Like
Oh
that,
yeah,
you know?
that would have been my mind would have been blown.
Man,
You know?
It's crazy how like with independent wrestling, like how we were talking about how you like get invested in it,
Yeah.
and it's like I literally, unfortunately, I didn't get to go to the show, but like I saw it on Instagram, and I was like, holy shit, the Hit Squad, is,
Yeah,
like,
that's
at
awesome.
WrestlePro?
Yeah,
I
man.
was like, what is going on? This is
Yeah.
crazy, man.
it was pretty funny because I mentioned something. We had Dan off a couple weeks before that, and I was like, "Yo, you think maybe we'll see a Hit Squad thing?" And he like played me off. He's like, "I don't know about that," but because like, maybe I'll bring some of my boys in, and I'm like, please, because
That's pretty sick, man.
yeah, man, I love when like guys like Arcadia, Teddy Hart, Kenny Omega now,
Yes.
like those are the guys I grew up paying $20 to see. Even
Yeah.
Samoa Joe and
Yeah.
Rhino,
Yeah.
and like look, like some of those guys now are like Luke Harper.
Yeah.
They're invading everywhere you go.
Yeah, they're
Even you can say like Necro Butcher. He's in the movie The Wrestler and stuff
Yeah.
like that. I mean, they're part of pop culture, like we talked about earlier.
yeah. Yeah, you're right. It's crazy as time goes by, like
and
how they evolved into what they are. You know.
and it's like everybody who came through Jersey All Pro Wrestling has
Mhm.
had a great career.
Yeah, I mean, like a lot of indie fans. If you see them everywhere, like back then, they're gonna be in the top places. You know.
I remember they're like the first people to actually bring in like Liger and some of the Japanese
Yeah.
guys. Like even ROH was doing that too
Yeah.
a little bit, but this was like one of the first indie shows
Yeah.
to actually bring in these guys. And like, oh, they're bringing Liger in
Yeah.
to wrestle like Homicide. I'm like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's one of the good things about the indies too is that, if you grew up watching wrestling, it was kind of like, you had like WCW, ECW, WWE.
Yeah.
You never got to see those guys mix until later on when Vince bought everybody.
Yeah. Of course.
But that's the good thing about indies is like
You get to
you
see
get to
like
see all these guys wrestle that
Yeah.
you want to see. It's just so awesome.
and that's the cool part, seeing one person that's really established in one place, and then like seeing them lock horns with another person that's established in another place, you know. And it could be like not even the places that they wrestle, it could be just like some other place,
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
random, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's cool, man. Like that's a good thing about so that's a good thing about we're talking about like nerd culture and all this stuff. That's I think what's better, like why I feel like wrestling is better than comic books. You're not gonna see Wolverine go against Superman,
Yeah, exactly.
but you know what I mean. You can
Yeah.
see like different indie wrestlers go against each other. You know, the possibility is endless.
Now,
You know,
now with like you worked with like Chris Payne
hmm
and you're at WrestlePro with like Anthony Bowens.
yes,
Like seeing those guys at like NXT and stuff like that. Does that give you like extra motivation to like push yourself or seeing them on TV?
it's not motivation, not like it's more like inspiration.
Inspiration. Okay.
You know what I mean? It's cool to see because I saw them when they first started, when they were new. Like they were training at Pat's, and just to see how far they've gone within this past couple of years, it's awesome. It's amazing. You know what I mean? It's cool. It makes when you're against them, it makes you want to bring up your game because you're proud of these guys.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Anthony Bones is like I'm really like proud of all of his accomplishments.
Yeah.
I wanted to go back to Superman versus Wolverine for a
Yes.
second. You had a chance to take on Global Force with WrestlePro, because that was like a dream match kind of thing.
Yeah.
Both guys are on the rise right now.
Yeah.
How was that for you, being involved in that kind of thing too? Watching that too,
it was cool.
Was it surreal? Because it's Jeff Jarrett. And
Yeah,
these guys,
It was like that feeling of that first show was amazing. Like teaming up with people like Kevin, Pat, like, you know, and Mario Bakara, like your family, you know what I mean? Your locker room family. And then you're against Jeff Jarrett, who's somebody you grew up watching, and people like on the other side, Justin and Mark, who like they're like my almost like real life family. Like I just seen them today. Like we live a town apart. We you know, we started since day one. Having that kind of match in that crowd was amazing. You know, it's great. It is surreal. You know what I mean? It's just that feeling of the rush of like the fans. You know, that are invested because they've been with us since PWS, and they're jumping aboard with WrestlePro. You know what I mean? And you know, them getting excited because this is our brand, not Global Force. You know what I mean? Just seeing that energy.
Yeah,
it was amazing.
It was amazing, and you were the main catalyst of why they turned their back on you.
I mean, yeah, afterwards,
afterwards, and that was crazy. Like, you know, like how everything just kind of fell into place.
When it was happening, I felt like I was literally right in the middle because I was never part of Global Force. Justin and Mark were.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they wrestled there. You know, I wasn't. So like, you know, like why would I join the other side? You know, because I'm a bad guy? No, this is WrestlePro is what made me. You know, it was cool to see that I was right in the middle.
Yeah.
And then like you know, when it was time for me to pick a side, and that was a great moment too. You know what I mean? Like and when I went that direction of turning face, I wasn't sure if the fans were gonna back me. You know, like on some real life stuff. You know, I wasn't really sure. You know, but it was like, let's take that like step. Let's see what happens. You know,
you can always go back, right?
I mean, I guess, yeah, of course.
Now you said you started your first match was with Carino.
Yeah.
As a tag team partner. You also teamed with Darren Young.
Yes. I wrestled him.
Okay.
Like one of my first feuds in the place that I started was with Darren Young. At the time, it was Bone Crusher Fred Sampson.
Okay.
Different like yeah, it was
different.
Yeah, like it was cool, man. He my first couple of years, he you know, he taught me a lot, you know what I mean? You know.
So I was gonna ask like I was like looking up your stuff and I seen you did a lot of like tag team work.
Yes.
I was gonna ask, who's your favorite tag team?
I can't pick that, man.
Man.
What are you gonna do? You're gonna give me heat with a lot of wrestlers, man. Are you kidding me?
No, not your favorite tag team partner.
Oh, okay.
But in general, growing up, who's your favorite tag team?
Oh,
or even now.
Okay, I was about to say, what up, Congo? My favorite tag team. That's kind of that's now or back then.
Whenever. Beast Dongo, right?
Huh?
What?
Beast Dongo.
Beast, yeah, of course. No, back then, it was the Rockers.
Okay.
They were so cool. They were, you know what I mean. They never won the title. I mean, at least in our eyes at that time, you know what I mean. But I was always rooting for them. You know what I mean. We were talking about WrestleMania 7.
Yeah.
They were the opening match. They were like, okay, so that night, like I might have watched wrestling before, but like from the earliest I remember, they were the first match of him, like the Rockers and Barbarian and Haku. Like that was the first tag match that I can honestly remember watching. Mm-hmm. So like, you know, like they were my favorites, you know. And then I got into like getting into wrestling. I kind of studied a lot of different, like, you know, wrestlers and different teams. I like the Brainbusters. Were awesome. Like as a wrestler, just watching stuff. Brainbusters was always amazing. The Freebirds, Rock and Roll Express. But yeah, like stuff like that.
All right, see, that's good, man. I want to put you in no heat.
Yeah,
like
what are you guys doing, Rocky? Come on, man.
Man.
You just told me I teamed with a lot of people. Like, what are you gonna do? I shared awesome moments with each one of them. But like, I'm not gonna. Say
that's politically correct. Man.
Yeah,
Trump is president now. You don't have to be politically correct no more. Man.
I wanted to ask you: do you prefer being in a match solo or in a tag team, or is it two different beasts?
It's two different. It's different, man. It's no. I don't think none of it's bad. It's just when you're in this, you want to see how how good you can do in a match with multiple people and just two. It's two totally different things. It's cool in a singles to just have two people and just try to entertain them, but like there's aspects in tag wrestling that you you can't duplicate, you can't have in a single. So it's two totally different things.
So I'm assuming when you were 5 that you weren't a big kid.
Are you kidding me?
You were big.
I was always big. I was always big. Are you kidding me? I love Cheetos. I love wrestling and Cheetos as a child. What are you talking about?
All right, part one of the question, I was going to ask you, did you have a favorite big man at that time?
Okay, so a lot of the big men were bad guys.
Yeah.
So, I hated all of them, but it's because they were all bad guys. It's so ironic. I mean, we're talking about, if you want to talk about that, when I was a kid, I hated Yokozuna because he took the belt from Brett.
Yeah.
I hated him. Why, you're going to get that big guy to, you know what I mean? It was real to me, damn it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he took the belt from one of my superheroes.
Mm-hmm.
But getting into wrestling, you have to study the type of wrestling that matches your body type.
Yeah. And
Yoko's one of my favorite big men of all time, which is ironic. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Growing up, being a fan, he did his job.
Yeah.
He did what he was supposed to do. You know what I mean? And how great it is, how great he is, he never spoke.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
So think about that as a bad guy as he is, and how much he was hated. He never said a word.
Yep. Definitely.
All actions.
It's funny how when you're a kid, how you look at things, and then when you get older,
and
you look at wrestling,
and
it evolves and then change your point. Because I realize now, I'm grown up, I like all heels.
Of course. It's a
face.
different times are different now, man.
Mm-hmm.
Bad guys are cool. So
bad guys are real.
I gotta be honest. My favorite Yokozuna match is against him and Virgil.
Really? What?
Just because this mammoth guy, as a kid, I saw that match, right? And this mammoth guy just destroying another human being.
Yeah.
Half his, not even half his size.
Yeah. This was this boxing Virgil?
Yeah,
with the little tassels on his thing.
The stripes, stuff like that. And oh my god, to me it was just and he beat him with such ease. And
he can move he for his size, he moves phenomenally. And that's not even a word. That's how great he moves. I just made up a word right now.
And it was awesome because they replayed the whole thing 2 or 3 times, and it was longer than the actual match, the replays.
Okay.
And you just see him bonsaiing Virgil, and Virgil just dead. And I got you. You have a good Virgil story?
No, I don't have a good Virgil story.
These guys, I don't know why.
He was always good to me, but I get why everybody says what they're saying. But
he has this weird nostalgia and love of Virgil.
I love wrestling.
Our other partner has this weird love of Virgil too.
Okay.
They drive me crazy every day with it.
I feel your pain, Rocky.
It's
It's the
annoying.
meat sauce.
I feel
all
your
the
pain,
meat sauce.
Rocky.
It's so annoying.
I love
It's so
Italian
annoying.
food. I can't help it.
Wait, what do you mean, like meat sauce and Virgil?
Olive
Yeah, he's a
Garden.
meat. Yeah, on his Instagram, he's all about the meat sauce mafia.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah.
And he's like, there's videos of him just like eating Olive Garden and stuff,
Mhm.
like the breadsticks. It's just like the funniest.
yeah.
He's just like,
You see how terrible this is?
This is like I'm baffled. I was like,
alright,
wait,
next
what?
question. What are you
No,
talking
I'm
about?
baffled. I was like, wait, what?
oh, you got to
Because you're talking about Virgil now. I'm thinking like
Yeah.
train station and like I'm trying to sell my gimmicks, Virgil.
Oh no, yeah, it's still,
That's the same
it's still
Virgil,
the same
but what do you
Virgil,
mean by
Same.
meat
But,
sauce?
Like he has like an obsession with like the Olive Garden, right?
Yeah.
And
Does
like,
he really?
Yeah.
I actually I might be a Virgil fan. I kind of might be a Virgil fan
He's the
myself.
OG of
Explain to me.
Olive
He
Garden.
likes
Like,
Olive Garden.
He doesn't just love Olive Garden; he loves it. And then like he calls his fans like the Meat Sauce Mafia.
Yeah.
He calls like Sasha Banks like he like stalks her,
Meat
and
Sauce Mama.
yeah,
He
and
stalks her.
Yeah, and he'll be like, "Oh yeah, like he had like a post like last Valentine's Day. He's like, you want to go out and be my meat sauce mama or something like that." And
Oh
it's
my
just, like-
god. Jesus.
Breadsticks and all this
and,
other stuff.
and he's all about like this
The
thing
fuck
called
money.
fuck money.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah,
I
so-
saw that video.
Yeah,
He did like a GoFundMe, right, or something like that.
Yeah, he has.
Yeah.
He's just it's hilarious. Like it's so hilarious. Like how this has like kind of exploded from like
Yeah.
lonely Virgil when people like, just take pictures of him.
Yeah.
He's even chased me around
What?
like the entranceway of like the rec center.
He ran
Yeah.
after you?
Yeah, like a couple times because I remember like when I was
Because
a
you
kid-
feed into him. That's what you do.
No,
You just
yeah,
everybody
yeah.
should like.
And this
Yeah.
is like this is before like this whole thing even started. Because,
Okay.
yeah, like because I remember like I went to like Jersey All Pro. I think he was there one day.
Okay.
And like I think that's where because it was in the rec center. And like I was like I said hi to him, and there was like nobody else there. He's like, "Come on, you want my teas?" And
Oh
my
man, that's
autographs?"
sad.
And I was like,
No.
no. And I walked around like the thing, and he's like following me around like the ring. Like
I guarantee,
you know.
but like now you'd probably buy all his shit because like you're the meat sauce guy.
Yeah.
Spent $20 on a Virgil DVD.
Did you
I don't know
really?
why.
yeah, yeah.
That's awesome.
From my
Good for
friend.
him.
And then, that's like his lifestyle.
I'm not judging, bro.
I
Good
sent,
for him.
I sent Virgil like the most professional email ever in my life. You know, would you like to come on the house? How much fuck money are you giving me?
That's what he replied.
Yeah, I was like,
That's amazing.
I was like,
bro.
what?
Awesome.
I actually booked him.
Wait, we can curse here?
yeah.
we can curse
I actually
here,
booked
yeah.
him
The
for.
fuck, man? This whole time.
I booked Virgil for Fastlane like a couple years ago.
What, like WWE? What are you talking
to
about?
come, yeah, to come
Go
over.
watch
Yeah, to
Fastlane.
come
Oh, okay. I was like, what?
I gave him like a price, you know, and he was like, "Oh, cool." And then like a couple of days later, he's like, "Yo, man, I'm still gonna do this, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "I'm gonna need some money for like gas and
Oh, he's awesome. He's
for
old school.
food and like." He's like, I'm gonna need a place to stay, so I'm like, oh, well, you could stay here, you know, and then I'll take you for breakfast or something like that, you know, and be like a, you know, like a good.
You had a
guest.
sleepover with Virgil?
No, he ended up
was
like
going to.
he ended up like doubling the price of what like we originally talked about. And I'm like, I don't, and I just
Bro,
lost,
like,
I had lost my job too.
Oh,
And
God.
I was like, I'm not gonna pay this large fee for Virgil. Maybe if it was like,
to sleep over my house.
yeah, I was like, maybe if it was like, you know, somebody grander than Virgil, but like the money that he wanted, I was like, I can't do that.
I mean, realistically, to pay a man to sleep over your house.
That's just
That's
yeah,
not.
he was
like,
gonna come over and watch like the pay per view with us and like hang with us and
That's
stuff
weird.
like that.
that's
And-
just
Imagine,
insane.
yeah, if your parents come downstairs, see
It's like,
some
Virgil!
old,
Like
some
that-
old black guy sleeping in your basement. Like, what's going on?
It's like, what is this guy doing here?
Yeah.
And then, like, he tries to sell him your parents' gimmicks. He's
yeah,
like, buy my 8x10.
That's horrible. Man. That's horrible. I don't know. They love this guy. We have to talk about Virgil at least once a week.
Really? Is this? Oh, so I'm not special?
Once in a while,
That's-
we
that's
haven't brought him
the
up
thing.
in a
No,
while.
we went very deep into this conversation with you. We never went this far.
Okay, so you're actually dissecting your love for.
His love, my hate.
Okay.
But I want to get back to something serious because at the
We were
start
talking
of-
about pandas earlier. It's really, like this podcast is. My podcast isn't that serious.
You recently teamed up with Sanjay Dutt
Yes.
and you took on Dirty and Durable.
Mm-hmm.
And at the Starland Ballroom, you know, when you get to wrestle, you know, guys have been in there for a while, like, you know, Sean Donovan,
Like
and Michael Blake.
they came from the same place. as we
Yeah,
did.
yeah.
Like alongside like people like I said earlier, like Fred Sampson and like Matt Bennett. He like Blake and Donovan were there, and like they taught me the ropes. They taught me everything. You know what I mean? Like I remember my first couple of years just having like real life conversations with at that time his name was Travis Blake and Sean Donovan, like just learning like etiquette and the whole culture of being a wrestler. Like I owe a lot to people like them.
Yeah.
They're one of my closest friends as well. They're family.
When they get the chance, like, who are you from the crowd?
It's awesome.
It's
amazing. It's great because I know them the whole time. No, it's cool to see the fans take them in. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's cool.
Because they've been having great matches with the Graysons.
They're phenomenal. Both of them are very underrated.
How was teaming up with Sanjay?
Amazing.
He's
awesome. He's a cool guy, and like he's like you weren't there for the Brooklyn show.
No, I didn't go to the Brooklyn show.
You missed out a lot, brother. We had the same match, and this time he wore one of my panda shorts, panda gear.
Okay.
So it was cool seeing him wear suspenders because it's too big to wrap around his waist.
Okay.
It was a great time. It was those two matches with him. Were so fun.
Yeah.
And a pleasure to work with.
That's awesome. And I want to talk about some of the marquee matches you had. You took on Matt Stryker.
Mm-hmm.
How was wrestling a guy like him?
I mean, like it's awesome. I mean, like I said earlier, like when you wrestle somebody that's very experienced, like I think of it differently. Mm-hmm. It's not a moment where like, oh my God, this guy has done it all. It's a learning process. It's a learning experience. It's like me. I see it differently. I talk to them about the match and try to like pick their brain and see their thought processes of everything, just to learn myself. Like when I wrestle somebody like that, I have a different mindset. I'm not like thinking, this guy's been everywhere. This is going to be great for my career. This is like, to me, it's what am I going to learn? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like this, it's going to be an honor. Yeah, it's awesome because he's done it all. Like, but what am I going to take out of this? Like mentally, you know what I mean?
Has there been anyone that has like come in that's like a big name that has like given you some good advice or that you picked?
They all. I mean, you just gotta like you don't. Like, for the most part, like they all, it's like a brotherhood. Like, you know what I mean? Like they know that like you haven't been there as you haven't been wrestling as long as they have, and they give you their opinions, mm-hmm. and it's always like if it's somebody that's a veteran. I mean, I've been wrestling for 12 years. I've been like around a while, but like if it's somebody that's traveled and has been everywhere, like. It's a learning experience. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like that's how it is. That's how you get better as a wrestler, is by wrestling people that's been more experienced and been there longer than you. I mean, yeah, there's if you're wrestling somebody like that hasn't been as experienced as you are, there's a learning experience with that too. Mm-hmm. Like you have to learn how to lead the person and everything, but you're gonna learn about like psychology through more experienced people.
Talking about like setting up a matchup and stuff like that. You took on Hornswoggle.
Yes.
Swoggle, a dream match.
Yes, it was awesome.
Putting that match together, was that difficult because you both are on the opposite end of the spectrum?
Honestly, I like wrestling people that I like wrestling in different scenarios because it makes you more creative and gives you opportunities to do things with somebody that you normally don't wrestle, and it gives you a different aspect of your work, like of wrestling. So it wasn't hard. It was good because you you have to think differently. It's challenging in a good way, you know.
Yeah, with like wrestling, like all these guys, these big names. Like, have you like done anything like try to do like any like WWE tryouts or anything like that, or have you tried to like branch out and like go to like possibly get to an NXT or TNA or something like that?
I mean, I haven't yet, but like like hopefully in the future.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm just like, yeah, you're just hopefully, you're always hoping.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
I'm working on it.
you're definitely one of those guys. I can see them, man. I can see you there, man.
I appreciate it.
I'll be
Bro.
happy. I'll see you on TV.
Yeah,
Where's
I-
Fallah?
I appreciate it,
Yeah,
Rocky.
I definitely concur with that. So you've had experiences with like Habib
Mhm.
and TPA. These guys are, and Bobby Wayward.
Yes.
And these guys are still growing.
Yes.
You've been there for a while.
It's scary because how great they're doing right
Yeah.
now, and seeing how far they've gone, and knowing that they're not even 10 years in, not even like 5 years in. You know what I mean? And they're just growing, and they have like the whole like they have the future ahead of them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
definitely.
I've been wrestling for years. I don't know when like I'm done. You know what I mean? As years go by, you're like, oh Jesus, like how much left do I have? But these guys are not even like, I could be wrong. I don't know exactly how many years they've been wrestling, but I know they've been there since Pat's school started. But like I know I hope I'm pretty sure they're like not even 5 years in.
Okay.
But like they've grown so much within these years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So is it different being the experienced guy in the ring compared to when you're the guy who's wrestling Abyss and Tommy Dreamer compared to those guys? Is there's like a different feeling being the guy in charge, almost like being a more veteran kind of guy to those guys or something like that?
I mean, it's different, but it's not like harder or like, you know what I mean? It's just different. You know what I mean? Like I said, like I'm more of, if I'm wrestling somebody like Tommy or like somebody like Abyss, like I'm more like trying to learn, like I said, and like if I'm wrestling like somebody like Habib or like Wayward or Bowens,
Try to teach them a little bit something.
not so much teach. Like I like to collaborate with like those guys. I trust. They're experienced. You know what I mean? I like to see what they want to put on the table, and I want to try to collaborate it with my style. But if it's somebody that's super super new, like somebody that like really green, like you just leave it. You know what I mean? You have to take charge. You know what I mean? Because you're not sure if and I don't mean this in a bad way, if they have their head on the right way. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But like somebody like those guys, like we were talking about, they know what they're doing. So it's more of a collaboration, whereas you know what I mean.
Yeah. Have you ever been like when there's like somebody that's new? Do you ever like go to them and maybe give them advice or take advice from them? Because sometimes a fresh perspective, like these wrestlers, I feel like sometimes they'll say something to maybe like not to you personally, but like I feel like I've heard like shoot interviews with other wrestlers where they've done things to kind of stop them from progressing, but they don't really listen to them anyway or something like that. Do you ever like there's like I was watching something, I think it was like Tatanka, and they told Tatanka not to, like, people in the match, like in the locker room would tell him like, don't do that, and that was the thing that was like getting him over, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, why would I listen to these guys if this is the thing that's working for me? But do you ever like pick like a somebody like a new brain about what can make you better or something like that, like a different perspective from where
I mean, if somebody asks me for advice, I can give it to them, but at the same sense, it's up to them to take it in, and it's up to them to use my advice. I could tell them something, and I might have not explained it the way I had it in my mind,
mm-hmm.
and they might have delivered whatever I told them a different way in the ring.
Okay.
So if they ask me, I'll tell them. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna I'm just unless somebody's hurt, I feel like they should just try something and find out what works. I mean, that's essentially like everything too. Like, you know what I mean? You might try one thing and like the fans might not like receive it the right way.
Yeah.
So don't do it anymore. You know what I mean? As long as nobody's hurt, then it's all good. You know?
Yeah.
It's crazy how you like how you look at wrestling. It's like you said you've been wrestling for 10 years,
Yeah.
right?
Well, like I think I'm going into 12.
Into 12. Wow.
Yeah.
And it's like being like a fan from the outside. Like I told you, like I first saw you on PWS.
Yes.
So to me, it's like you're still like a new guy to me.
Yeah, I got you.
And it's crazy, and it's like, you know, you're like, yeah, I've been wrestling for 12 years, and it's crazy just that whole perspective. And I mean, you don't look like a 12-year guy. Like you look relatively young.
I
so,
appreciate that. I have a baby face.
It's crazy, like just like that perspective. And like wrestling is just great, man.
It's. I think. I mean, like it's entertainment. I mean, I think it's a sport because it takes a toll on everybody's body, but it's art.
Yeah,
it's art to its finest. You know, it's storytelling. It's good versus evil.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's the best part about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
So, Fallah, where can people find you on social media?
At Instagram, you can find me at FallahGram1. On Twitter, you can find me at Fallah. Wait. I haven't used Twitter in a while. I'm so professional, by the way. This is really bad. As I'm stalling right now, I'm looking at my phone to make sure that I got the right Twitter handle.
This is not the first time this happened.
No, this is my second time talking, honestly. At Fallah1. And you can find me on Facebook, Fallah Bahh. Bahh with 2 H's.
I'll say one thing. Fallah's Instagram is amazing.
I appreciate it.
I love your posts. They're always so just like fun, just stuff.
But that's life. I mean, like, I don't want to take. I mean, like I take wrestling serious. I take social media serious in the point where it's gonna advertise what I'm gonna do, but I'm not gonna take like every aspect of social media seriously.
Definitely.
You know.
And I'll say, I love your hashtag. Fat kids rule the world.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
I was like thinking about that the other day because I knew we had you coming up, and I'm like that's like a pretty like that can be like a motivating thing for like you know kids nowadays. You know how society.
Do you know the story behind that?
I don't.
All right, so I don't think I've ever actually went in depth in this, so this is kind of a new thing. I was watching a movie called Fat Kid Rules the World, and it intrigued me because the story is about a fat kid that was suicidal and like very he didn't have a lot of confidence in himself, you know, and like the first scene in the movie is him like on a bus stop seeing the bus fly by and him taking the first step, and a punk rock kid tackled him and saved him. Like the punk rock guy, I don't know, like, you know, the other kid like saved him, right? Both of them became friends. Both of them have problems. The kid, the punk guy had like a heroin addiction, and the fat kid just had no confidence in himself. The fat kid found himself in punk rock, right? That culture, that music. There's a scene where where he literally found himself. He found what he wanted. Where he got so excited. He went to a punk concert, and when he went home, he was just like so excited. He's like, "Oh man, this is great!" Like, you know, he started changing his room and all this stuff, and it was great. And he found himself. The whole scene was him finding himself, and like it took me back to when I first started going to live shows. That excitement of that kid just reminded me of how I was watching like wrestling. You know what I mean? And he found himself. He found his confidence in punk rock. I found my confidence. I found myself in pro wrestling. Yeah.
And also, you're going to be taking part at Wrestlecon You want to talk about that?
Jeff Cobb.
Yep.
Really excited. Big man that can move, just like me, who was a big man that can move. I'm really excited for not only just me and Jeff Cobb, just me and the entire roster taking our brand and bringing it to Wrestlecon to wrestle in front of like everybody that's there for WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really excited.
And
ready to throw down the motherfucker.
And you're gonna be at WrestlePro April 29th?
April 20th, yes.
In the rec center?
Yeah. March 11th and yeah. Let me. I'm gonna be professional right now to make sure I get the right dates. We were at the Rahway Rec Center, March 11th, 2017, nice. And we're at WrestleCon in Orlando. Yeah.
Okay. You have any more shows with BBWF coming up?
Yes, hopefully in the future.
Okay.
I'm wrestling in the Monster Factory this Saturday, teaming up with Mario Baccara for the Money and the Miles.
Got the tag titles.
Yeah, and hopefully in the future, I get a chance to wrestle in as many places as possible.
Great to hear, man.
Check my Instagram, bro.
Definitely. Yeah, follow my Instagram, man. It's great. Trust me, you'll love it. Definitely love.
Thank you for having me.
No, thank you.
Well, we definitely appreciate you coming through, answering all our questions. Cool. Giving me a new nickname.
Yeah, Rocky. Hell yeah,
man.
Before we go, make sure you subscribe to the page. Follow us at Wrestling IQ 101 on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Mm-hmm. And check out WrestlingIQ101.com. You'll hear this interview. You'll hear all of our other great interviews. And we out.
#Fat Kid Rules the World.